On the night of August 24th, the coastal resort city of Sanya, located at the southern tip of Hainan Island, faced the harshest challenge of the year. Typhoon Kajiki, known in China as Jianyu, did not make a direct landfall, yet its powerful outer circulation swept across the city with devastating force. Wind speeds recorded at several stations reached 45 meters per second, equivalent to force 14 on the Beaufort scale, strong enough to turn a bustling city into a battlefield of nature. The extreme winds shook high-rise buildings, uprooted trees, knocked out power, and disrupted the daily lives of hundreds of thousands of residents in an instant. For families living in apartment towers, it was a night of fear and unease. Residents described feeling their entire buildings swaying under the storm's pressure. Windows rattled violently, balconies bent under sudden gusts, and sheets of rain pounded the glass as though trying to shatter it. Some households taped their windows in a desperate attempt to prevent them from breaking. Meteorological experts reassured the public that the shaking remained within the safety limits of modern building standards. Yet the psychological impact was undeniable. The fear that at any moment nature could exceed human defenses was overwhelming. Outside, Kajiki's true force was captured in dramatic footage shared on social media. Winds howled through streets, branches splintered, and billboards were torn apart like paper. At Sanya Port, enormous waves smashed into the piers, seawater spilling over the concrete surface. Residents watched in shock as a large vessel, moored securely, was tossed about like a toy, drifting toward shore under the roar of the storm. The typhoon transformed once lively streets into scenes of devastation. Iconic rows of coconut palms were uprooted. Trees blocked main roads, crushing parked vehicles and obstructing emergency routes. Streetlights flickered before going dark. Massive advertising boards were ripped apart, their debris scattered across intersections like blades. In the darkness, cleanup and rescue crews worked tirelessly to clear paths for ambulances, fire trucks, and power repair teams. Infrastructure across the city suffered severe disruption. Tens of thousands of households plunged into darkness after transmission lines collapsed. Emergency crews were dispatched overnight, prioritizing hospitals, evacuation shelters, and water supply facilities. Yet the fierce winds slowed progress. By dawn, some neighborhoods had partial power restored, while many others remained cut off. Authorities in Hainan province quickly activated a Level 1 emergency response, the highest in China's disaster management system. More than 20,000 residents from fishing villages, coastal communities, and low-lying areas were evacuated to schools, gymnasiums, and community shelters. Inside these shelters, families huddled together on mats and blankets. Volunteers distributed bottled water, instant noodles, and medical supplies. The elderly and children received special care, with doctors stationed on site.
这个玻璃吹的都变形，你看整个都会动，看到没有？整个玻璃都在动。
Transportation across the island was paralyzed. Sanya Phoenix International Airport suspended all flights, leaving thousands of travelers stranded. Trains, buses, and long-distance coaches were canceled. At sea, more than 800 offshore workers were evacuated from rigs and projects before the storm arrived. Tourism, Hainan's flagship industry, ground to a halt. Beaches stood deserted. Hotels and resorts shuttered, painting a stark contrast to the island's usual vibrancy. Kajiki also unleashed torrential rains. Within just 24 hours, Sanya recorded more than 250 millimeters of rainfall, flooding underpasses and low-lying residential areas. City workers rushed to pump out water and piled sandbags to protect flood-prone buildings. The Water Resources Bureau issued warnings of possible flash floods and widespread urban inundation if the rain continued. Amid the chaos, social order remained intact. Emergency hotlines stayed open. Police and firefighters were deployed across the city, and medical teams worked around the clock. Social media was filled with real-time updates, government advisories, and residents sharing their own harrowing experiences. By the morning of August 25th, as the typhoon weakened and moved into the South China Sea, conditions in Sanya gradually stabilized. The skies remained gray with occasional heavy showers, but the winds had eased. Across the city, workers cleared fallen trees, power crews restored connections, and little by little, the city began to recover its rhythm of life. Though Kajiki never made a direct landfall on Hainan, its destructive impact served as a powerful reminder. Coastal cities, no matter how modern or well-prepared, remain extremely vulnerable to nature's fury. This was not just a storm, but a harsh warning that climate change is making extreme weather events more powerful, more sudden, and more dangerous than ever before. On the morning of July 6, 2025, one of the deadliest floods in Texas history continues to claim lives. At least 51 people have been confirmed dead, including 15 children. The relentless floods have swept across entire communities, leaving destruction and chaos in their wake. Rescue operations are ongoing, but time is running out for many. It all began with a storm. The weather, which had already been unsettled in the days leading up to the event, took a dangerous turn. Heavy rainfall began falling on Texas with little warning, and the already saturated ground could not absorb the water. Rivers and lakes that were already swollen broke their banks, and the waters rose fast, faster than anyone anticipated. One of the most affected areas was the Guadalupe River, where thousands of people live and work near its banks. Among those caught in the floods were the girls at Camp Mystic, a summer camp for young girls located by the river. Both floodwaters rapidly engulfed the camp. Panic spread as children and staff struggled to survive. Dozens of helicopters were deployed, tirelessly searching through the night, hoping to find survivors. The search teams worked in dangerous conditions, braving fierce winds, low visibility, and debris-strewn waters. Tragically, 4 campers who were initially reported missing have been found dead. However, 27 other young girls are still unaccounted for, and rescue teams have been working tirelessly to locate them. The search is urgent, and with each passing hour, hope fades for some while others hold on to the belief that their loved ones are still alive. Among the most heartbreaking stories was the fate of 27 female students from School Name, who were last seen as the floodwaters rose around their campus. Their whereabouts remain unknown, leaving their families in agonizing uncertainty. Amid this devastation, heroes are emerging. Local volunteers, emergency responders, and even ordinary citizens have come together to help with the search and rescue efforts. Families have been torn apart, but the resilience of the Texas people is unmatched. Boats, helicopters, and even drones have been deployed to assist in locating survivors in these harsh conditions. Entire communities were wiped out, leaving nothing but debris and despair in their wake. The flood left the state grappling with an unprecedented disaster, one that will be remembered as one of the worst natural calamities to strike Texas in modern history. As of this morning, the death toll continues to rise. The floods have claimed at least 51 lives, with the number expected to grow as search operations continue. The entire region has been devastated, with neighborhoods submerged, roads impassable, and entire families missing. The floodwaters have spread far and wide, affecting both rural and urban communities alike. As rescue teams continue their search, the state of Texas remains in mourning, with lives lost and families waiting for news. The true cost of this disaster is still unfolding. But one thing is clear: the resilience of the people of Texas will be tested like never before in the wake of this disaster. The federal government has stepped in. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem confirmed that President Donald Trump has approved federal emergency aid for Texas, allowing for rapid deployment of resources. In addition, local, state, and federal agencies are working together to coordinate rescue operations and provide relief. One of the most heart-wrenching aspects of this disaster is the uncertainty faced by families. Parents, desperate to find their children, anxiously await updates from rescue teams. The feeling of helplessness in the face of this disaster is overwhelming, and many are struggling to cope with the ongoing crisis. Their emotional toll is just as devastating as the physical damage done by the flood. While the floodwaters have caused unimaginable loss, they have also brought out the best in people. Communities are coming together to support one another. Volunteers are handing out supplies, food, and water to those affected by the floods. The road to recovery will be long, but the strength and solidarity of the Texas people will make it possible. The search for the missing continues. Rescue teams are working day and night, never stopping, as they attempt to locate survivors. The intense heat and unpredictable weather are making conditions even more difficult. But with every passing hour, more people are rescued, and the hope for finding the missing girls from Camp Mystic remains strong. The aftermath of this devastating flood will leave a lasting mark on Texas. The families who have lost loved ones, the communities that have been torn apart, and the state itself will face an incredibly long and difficult recovery. But this tragedy is also a testament to the resilience and strength of the people of Texas, who continue to fight back in the face of unimaginable loss. In the face of one of the most devastating natural disasters in U.S. history, the resilience of the first responders and volunteers cannot be overstated. Firefighters, police officers, paramedics, and even civilians have gone above and beyond to help. Despite the overwhelming challenges, these heroes work tirelessly, day and night, to rescue those trapped by the rising waters. Local residents have also stepped up, forming volunteer groups to assist in any way they can. In one of the hardest hit areas, volunteers set up makeshift shelters, providing food, water, and emotional support for the evacuees. It's moments like these that reveal the heart and soul of a community. People from all walks of life coming together to rebuild what's been destroyed. The emotional toll of this disaster is impossible to quantify. For the families of those lost, every moment is filled with uncertainty and fear. Parents are waiting for news, holding onto the hope that their children, their loved ones, will be found safe. It's not just the physical devastation that takes its toll, but the mental and emotional scars that will last long after the floodwaters have receded. For those who survived, the trauma is no less real. Many are left without homes, their lives uprooted in an instant. But amid the grief, there are also moments of joy, reunions, small victories, and signs of hope that, even in the darkest times, the human spirit remains unbroken. As Texas grapples with this disaster, the nation's support has been overwhelming. Donations from across the country are pouring in, with people offering money, supplies, and services to help those in need. In addition, neighboring states have sent support in the form of emergency teams, further proving that in times of crisis, we are all one nation. The world has also extended its sympathy. Messages of support have flooded in from around the globe, with many offering prayers and assistance for those affected. This disaster has shown us all the importance of community, unity, and the power of solidarity in the face of unimaginable hardship. The road to recovery will not be easy. While the immediate search for the missing and rescue operations continue, plans for rebuilding are already underway. Emergency crews, engineers, and construction workers are working around the clock to clear debris, restore infrastructure, and rebuild the homes and businesses that were lost in the flood. It will take months, if not years, to fully recover from this catastrophe. Entire neighborhoods will need to be rebuilt, lives reassembled, and families will need to start anew. But as they have done countless times before, The people of Texas will rise from the ashes of this disaster, stronger and more united than ever. In the aftermath of such devastation, questions about flood preparedness and response will be asked. How could this tragedy have been prevented? What steps will be taken to ensure that future floods are managed more effectively? Government officials, scientists, and emergency management experts are already working on long-term solutions. Flood barriers, improved levee systems, and early warning systems are among the measures being put in place to protect communities from future disasters. The lessons learned from this tragedy will shape the way the state and the country respond to natural disasters in the future. As Texas begins its journey of recovery, the floodwaters may have receded, but the memories of this disaster will remain forever etched in the hearts of the people. Yet, despite the devastation, hope remains. Hope that from the ruins, a stronger, more resilient Texas will rise.
Nature doesn't send us warnings, but we can. Floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and storms are striking harder and faster than ever before. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are joining a movement to stay alert, stay informed, and helps others to do the same. Hit the subscribe now because the next disaster won't wait, and neither should you. Be ready and be aware.